Hi, hello everybody. Welcome again to Consciousness Rising. And I'll be your host today, Tanya Norris. And we are joined with a very fabulous guest from Cape Town, and her name is Diana Collins Smith. Hello, Diana, and welcome.
Hello, Tanya. Well, thank you so much for having me.
No, a very big, warm welcome to you, and thanks for joining us. Before we get into anything, Diana, I'm just going to give our viewers here a little bit of background as to who you are and what you do. Okay, so you are an energy medicine practitioner, spiritual and vibrational energy teacher. You have a background in metaphysics, energy healing, Reiki, kinesiology, bioenergetic body work, channeling, tarot, soul retrieval, hidden mind, and vibrational medicine. And you also represent a European organization, Hidden Mind, Investigative and Corrective Sound Protocol, and an African organization, Bio Energy. So that's an awful lot of things, Diana, and I'm going to have to sit and dissect that and just get a little bit more insight. Before we get into that, I just did want to tell our viewers that Diana will be coming up to Zimbabwe and running a workshop. So that's something interesting and exciting. We'll talk a little bit more about that later. Okay, so Diana, let's just get into this. First of all, you represent this hidden and in mind investigative and correctional sound protocol. What is that?
Okay, so that's a healing modality that comes out of Ireland. And I went over to Ireland 5 years ago to go and study with the wizard, Tom Griffin. So Tom has taken what I believe to be the best of the different healing modalities, and he's put it all into one protocol, which he calls the hidden mind. So it encompasses kinesiology, craniosacral therapy, sound therapy, which of course is the very powerful one, and aromatherapy and crystal therapy, and then a very long process of investigation using statements based on quantum science to speak to the subconscious mind of the person to find out where the trauma is, when the trauma occurred, and how it can be deleted or released. So it goes very, very deep. And then, so it goes into the physical, mental, emotional, environmental, chemical, spiritual, all of those avenues. So it goes very, very deep. And then there is an aspect where we go into the ancestral. So going back 15 generations, going forward 15 generations, and 15 generations linear on either side. The 15 generations, I think, is just a metaphor, quite honestly, because I think we can go right back to the beginning of time. But as we are so ancient and we've had so many, many lifetimes, and we've got so much stuff there coming down from our genetic code, from our DNA, what we call perpetuating gene faults. So things that perpetuate themselves generation after generation after generation. Could be alcoholism or club foot or cleft palate or schizophrenia. There's so many. I mean, you know, and there's none of us that are really excluded from this stuff. So it's been my very great privilege and honor to work with the hidden mind, because I feel that it really shifts people and it really helps them to move into the next level. Once we can release ourselves from all this karma, because that's basically what it is, then we can step forward, we can move forward. So Tom said to me that I must take it back to Africa and I must teach it and I must use it. And so it's now been my mission to train therapists in the hidden mind. And because we need more therapists, we need more people with this knowledge and this wisdom out there in the world to go make a difference for others. And to move out of the fear.
Right. Would that require like a hypnotherapy, to use hypnosis to do all of that?
No, not at all.
Okay.
It's all done basically through kinesiology and the statements made by quantum science and the sound therapy. So the sounds have been recorded in a recording studio in Denmark by a qualified sound therapist. Tom has scoured the planet for all the instruments So he's been to visit shaman in Bali and Peru and Tibet and various parts of Africa. And he's bought these instruments and he's brought them back. And they've been known for aeons of time by these people that the frequencies created by those sounds correct one or several of the 28 cardinal frequencies within the body. China is another one. Got a lot of instruments, and they're the most odd looking instruments, and the sounds are rather peculiar. One of them sounds like elephants trumpeting, for instance. But the difference is remarkable. People will come to me afterwards and say, or contact me afterwards and say, I can't tell you exactly what has changed, but something has changed. I'm not anxious, I'm not depressed anymore. So it works.
Okay. And Diana, how long would a session like that take? And would somebody need more than one session?
Yeah. So how I operate in Cape Town is I do offer once-off treatments, which are usually about 75 minutes. I do need to take a case study from the person and understand why they're feeling they're needing the treatment. But the optimal treatment protocol is 3 sessions, an hour a day over 3 consecutive days, because that allows time to go deeper, much deeper. So, and most people do opt in for that. Where it's proven to be very successful is helping children on the spectrum. I treat a lot of children. And the earlier we can catch it, the quicker we can shift things for those children.
Okay. And can you do those kind of sessions online?
Yes.
Okay.
I do a lot of distance.
Okay, so anybody watching this who'd like to have a session can actually do that. Get hold of you and do like online sessions. Sorry, just my earphone thing has fallen out. Okay.
There's no distance when it comes to energy. Everything is connected. Right. So distance treatments can often be even more successful than if the person's sitting in front of me. So it's quite amazing.
Right. So now, when you come to Zimbabwe, can we just talk about that a little bit? You're coming for a very specific reason, and that is to do some kind of energy ground clearing and ground healing, which energy releasing, I think, is what you call it. So, but you're also going to fit in a workshop, which we should be very excited about. Will you have time to fit in any one-on-one sessions with people? Or not this trip? Oh, you will. You will. Okay.
Well, I'll have a few days. So we arrive on the Wednesday. So I have Thursday, Friday, Saturday, in which I can do readings. I'm also a psychic channel, so I do readings and or treatments. And then on the Sunday, we'll be doing my divine guidance channeling workshop, teaching people how to channel, giving them tips and tools as to how they can access their own divine intuition to connect to their spirit guides and their family on the other side of the veil. The veil is becoming very much thinner, so it's becoming easier and easier to connect in, which is just fabulous.
Yeah.
With certain tips and guidance, it makes it much easier to do that and to trust the process. It's really a trust thing.
That's right. Yeah, and it takes a little bit of while. And I've always said that people have to get their own evidence. So you've got to go away, go and test that, get your own evidence. And I think that's what actually does build up a lot of faith and trust in the process as well.
So I call this workshop an exponential workshop. So people must see for themselves. They must feel for themselves. They must know for themselves. It's all very well listening to me talking away, but until you've actually experienced it yourself and realize that it actually is happening,
that's right.
Then they can trust it. And there's absolutely nothing to fear.
That's right. Well, yeah.
Very, very empowering. Very empowering.
So the workshop will run for the whole day?
On the Sunday. So that will be Sunday the 19th.
Okay. All right. Perfect. We're going to put all that information in underneath after this conversation.
Okay.
So that is something exciting and to look forward to. And then the other work that you're going to be doing, you're actually coming up with somebody called Charles Pina.
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
So Charles is an alchemist, and a geomancer. He's many things, as many of us are, and we're going to be doing some earth healing work and just following some ley lines. We've been doing a lot of map dowsing here in South Africa, but we now need to walk the land and connect with the earth spirits, the guardians of the land, and feel into what needs to be done, what else needs to be done there.
Okay, so I think it's almost like a precursor or a forerunner to many trips to Zimbabwe.
I hope so. I would love that to be true.
I think it will. I mean, I think you're going to pick up so many vibes, and yeah, I think you know it's going to take more than one session to clear the land, as you know. Hey? Okay, so that is fabulous. If people wanted to book a session with you or a channeling, or just to talk to us a little bit about the channeling. Okay, so who is it exactly that you channel, or many people that you channel?
I never quite know the answer to that question because no one channeling is ever the same. So I am a channel. I make myself available to channel for other people's spirit guides, their ancestors. And recently, this last year or so, the most profound beings are coming through for many of us that have come to give us words of wisdom and guidance for the road ahead. There's a lot of uncertainty in the world today, but Spirit has told us in so many different channelings that we are the ones that we have been waiting for. And only the very bravest of brave were chosen to be here at this very auspicious time in the history of humanity. And that is us. So what is it that we came here to do? And it's that information, giving people guidance as to their soul journey and to step into the path that they truly came here to be. But often Granny will step in, Granddad, ancestors going way back. Sometimes we have ancestors coming forward asking for healing for something that needs to be healed for the genetic group. It really varies. And then just general guidance for usually a reading is usually about a year in advance as to what's happening in that person's life. Sometimes we go a little bit further, but generally it will give them confidence to move forward, and especially if they've got doubts about making a choice about selling a house or a new job or a relationship. Often the wisdom comes through about that.
Okay.
But no one channeling is ever the same. So I can't tell you, there's no blueprint. But no, I don't channel Chiron or any specific being.
Okay. All right. So if somebody wanted to book a session for you, what would that look like? Because I see you do all these other things. I mean, you've got the Reiki and the tarot, and do you just feel into that person to see what's going to be the best thing for them?
Yeah, so I often use the tarot as a guide. So I'll channel for the person, and then if they're wanting more in-depth information about a specific thing that's coming through, then we'll often go to the tarot to just get a little bit more info on what's happening there. But I'm becoming much more purely channel rather than relying on other aids. The spirit is becoming much clearer as the veils are thinning, as we said earlier. The treatments that I do are predominantly using the hidden mind and bioenergy. So bioenergy is bioenergetics, and it's clearing out the energy fields in and around the person's body. Bioenergy is the opposite to Reiki, in that with Reiki, we talk about putting energy in. With bioenergy, we're taking energy out. We're removing all the old stuck energy, the chi that's stuck in the meridians and the auric fields, taking it out and giving you a good overhaul, a good clean out, and allowing the new universal life force energy to flow in. It's quite amazing. It's very revitalizing. It's a bit like having your car serviced, you know, it gets everything renewed and cleaned up and going, so you're good to go for another 15,000 kilometers or whatever it is. And that's wonderful for children, especially children that are suffering from ADHD. It helps to calm them down, resets the nervous systems, and allows everything to move back into place where it should be. It's in alignment and in balance and all of that in one treatment. So depending on what comes through when I'm taking somebody's case history, I will decide what I'm going to do predominantly in that treatment, because obviously we have different tools for different symptoms.
Okay.
Okay. So I
Yeah.
work very intuitively as well.
Are you going to have time to do those the treatment sessions? Because I mean they're quite long.
Yeah, I've only got limited time.
That's right. So will you have time to do the treatment sessions, or when you come, you'll just basically be doing readings, which is obviously a different thing? Or do you incorporate them? Okay.
I incorporate them. If person needs treatment, they will get treatment.
Okay.
Often during a reading, they'll get a treatment too that comes in from spirit. Mother Mary often comes in and gives treatments to people, places roses in their hearts, and places her hand on their head to re-energize, to remove entities. It's really very interesting to see what transpires. But if somebody definitely wants treatment, I have got some slots open for treatments.
Okay. Okay.
To do that.
All right. Well, I think that's interesting for people to know. So, okay, that's fabulous. Now, just want to shift gears for a minute, because I see something else that you do are these White Lion and Adam's Calendar tours. That's in South Africa, obviously. So, so Adam's Calendar, for people who don't know, it's meant to be like the Stonehenge of Africa. Am I right? And it kind of predates the pyramids, and it predates Stonehenge, and I think it's meant to be something like the oldest site in the world. Obviously, that must be quite a controversial claim. But anyway, tell us a little bit about that.
So Adam's Calendar is an ancient monolithic worship site. They're standing stones. The energy there is just profound. They're on the edge of an escarpment in the low-felt area. It's a very beautiful area. And it's surrounded by lots of stone circles, which Michael Tillinger, who was the one that brought this to sort of light for most people in the Western world, he claims that the stone circles are the ancients' way of generating power. Okay. But in that area, there's also giant footprints. There's evidence of all sorts of ancient and alien beings. Baba Credo Mutwa spoke a lot about the Anunnaki that settled there. So that whole area is very mystical, very beautiful. And once you visit it, you can tune into those energies. It pulses. There's a vibration there. There's the grave site near Adam's Calendar of a man that's over 10 feet tall. And it's a very sacred site. That's where Baba Credo Mutwa took initiation to be a Sangoma. So it was a very sacred site for the indigenous people in that area in Southern Africa. And Baba Credo was a Zulu Sangoma. So the Zulus traveled all that way to do ritual there because they knew how significant it was. The White Lions, of course, are very, very significant to this timeline that we're living in. And the champion of the White Lions has been this lady called Linda Tucker. Linda Tucker got a lot of her information from Baba Credo Mutwa, who was known as the Lion Shaman. He's been dead for just over a year now. It's been very sad losing him because he was such a fabulous.
Did you ever meet Credo? Did you ever meet him?
I've met him on numerous occasions. Yes, I used to go meet him where he lived in Kuruman. Wonderful, wonderful being. So he told the story of how a meteorite came out of the sky and crashed into the earth in that area known as Timbavati, which is just to the west of Kruger Park, near a place called Hoedspruit. And this meteorite was witnessed by the Rain Queen of Majuji and her entourage from a nearby mountain. And apparently, after the dust had settled, some beings came out of this meteorite and were sort of milling around. And the queen went down to go and greet these people, but her entourage were too afraid to go with her. A long story short, she went down, she greeted them. They took her into this meteorite, and she came out, she re-emerged sometime later, looking young and beautiful, because she was apparently quite elderly at that time, and she'd gone through this whole longevity experience. And her entourage then came down and met these alien beings that had arrived. So everything that Baba Credo spoke about was always in metaphors, so it was always easy to follow him. But basically, the message was that this meteorite and these beings from outer space had seeded the first of the white lions in Timbavati. And it was shortly after that that they started incarnating. This was in the early 1970s. Then, of course, they had a very high price on their heads from the hunting industry because they were desired as trophies. So Linda Tucker came in then, and she's got quite a long story to tell, and she started this sanctuary where she gives them protection. But they are beings of higher light, and they are truth. They are custodians of the truth and integrity of, because they're white, they are purity. And the mythology goes that Earth has been watched over. The custodians of Earth have been 12 dragons of Mu since the beginning of time, the primordial caretakers of this planet. And on the 20th of December last year, they handed the baton over, so to speak, to the 8 golden winged lions, which the white lions of Timbavati are the physical manifestations of. So when one looks at this, you know, Jesus was known as the Lion King. The lion comes in many mythological teachings. The Sphinx in Egypt, of course. Baba Credo also spoke about the Noetic Meridian coming down Africa from the Sphinx in Egypt, all the way through Harare and down to Timbavati and down through to Durban. And that is a very significant ley line, or dragon line, as we call it. Yeah. So it's all coming together now, and the 8 golden winged lions are becoming very prominent. And they come in on readings that I do for clients too. So it's interesting how it's all coming together. The golden Christed timeline is also very prominent. The Mary Magdalene timeline, they're all merging at the moment into this very auspicious time that we're living in.
Yeah, that's very fascinating. Eh? When you go off now and do this work with the land, when you come here to Zim, you're going with a group of people, aren't you?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
A group of Zimbabweans.
That's right. We do have quite a few people here doing land work as well. And yeah.
I'd love to meet them all.
Well, yeah, I'm sure you will now this time round. I'm sure you will. But I do think it's important. I'd love to get I know Michael Tellinger has been here to Great Zimbabwe, but it would be nice to actually get him involved with, because I think that we've got a lot of hidden things and a lot of secrets. And if you certainly look at all of our rock paintings, and, you know, it really does tell a whole story. Yeah. So, well, that is all really, so it's very much a multi-layered, multifaceted type of work that you're doing.
Yes.
Yeah.
One thing leads to another, as I'm sure you're aware if you're in this world, and as your gifts open up and Spirit gives you more gifts, so you become more connected. So I'm very attached to the earth. I always have been. I used to be a dairy farmer, and I worked in organic agriculture. So earth and environmental issues, best practices, all those sort of things have always been very close to my heart. But something I wanted to mention, Tanya, was that we'll also be going to Stillhaven.
Okay.
That's just a fairly new development. We've been invited by Barbara to go visit. And so the following weekend, we will be in Bulawayo.
Okay,
doing
that's
those
interesting.
workshops.
Okay.
And visiting Metaphysics, which is going to be very exciting.
I was there about 2 months ago. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. No, and it is a very nice place. I was very apprehensive, you know, because of the history, because of the energy. I'm not a big fan of Cecil John Rhodes, you know, all of that stuff. So I was very apprehensive. Anyway, while I was there, I also did some kind of meditations. And, you know, the feeling that I got was that all that negative stuff that's taken place, okay, in Africa, the killings, but any kind of killing, even animals killing each other, is that the earth and the rocks, there's a lot of rocks there, absorb that energy. It's all been absorbed. It's all gone into the earth. It's kind of all just sort of been recycled, so to speak. So I got no bad vibes at all when I was there.
Yeah.
You know?
Look, you know, a lot of people have done a lot of work at Metaphysics, but we've also been doing a lot of work at Rhodes Memorial here in Cape Town, which is on Devil's Peak. And that had a very, very sinister energy.
Oh, really?
2 years ago. Yes. So a lot of work's been done. And then I have a group called Heal Africa. We meet every Saturday night on Zoom, and we do flights into Africa to address different issues that are happening within the continent that need to be healed. And we started off healing the wounds of mining of gold and diamonds, and all the beloveds that had died in those mines and given up their lives and suffered so badly, etc. And then we progressed into healing the animals of Africa that are used and abused so badly, they're trafficked terribly. And it just went on from one thing to another, to another, to another. So the group of healers that comes together, that group consciousness, I believe has been very powerful in transforming and transmuting a lot of things. Because Africa it's time for Africa to awaken now. Is awakening now. So there's amazing things happening in this continent.
Yeah.
And
well, and maybe my experience was actually just testament to that, because like you said, I went there, I felt no vibes. Now, maybe 5 years ago or 10 years ago, that would have been a very different story. I have been there previously, to be honest, I have. But I wasn't really living with that much awareness. You know, I was much younger. You know, I didn't know about all those things. So, yeah, so it's maybe it's just testament to all the good works that people like you and your groups are doing. So
yes, plenty of people doing this work. There's a lot all over the world doing this work.
Right.
So the collective energy of all of us coming together, I believe, is transmuting a lot of the things in the world, all over the world. Antarctica is another one where we've done a lot of clearing, a lot of healing there. America, the UK, Europe is full of witchcraft, full of it.
I know.
So lifting all that stuff and transmuting it. And we are so supported by the beloveds on the other side. Legions of angels arrive and ascended masters to assist us in that work. So it's about setting the intention and stepping into the circle, and it is done, but it seems to be that they need us to step up and do it. But they're actually the ones that are doing the work.
Well, almost like an instrument or a conduit, I suppose, you know, because we are we're physically connected to the earth, so they need some kind of instrument to work through. Yeah, it makes sense.
Exactly. I think that's exactly what it is. So, but it's fun too. We have a lot of fun doing these things. And hopefully it is making a difference, but I do believe I can feel the difference in Africa, and your testament is just wonderful to hear that there is a shift happening.
That's right. That's right. Okay, well, Diana, thank you so much for joining us, for giving us all those insights. And I just say to anybody watching, Diana is coming up, as we said. So if you would like to attend the workshop, or you would like to have a personal reading or a healing, or then please contact her or even me, and I'll put all the information in this talk below. Charles Pina is coming and his workshop. I'm going to be doing an interview with Charles. So that'll also go out in the next few days, so people can see what Charles is all about. And he's very much into, what would you say, more earthly. I know he makes something called ormus. Is that right?
Yeah, he's an alchemist, and he makes a product called ormus, which is the manna from heaven that they speak about in the Bible. It's made from salts and water, so he's quite an expert on minerals. Charles is a plant geneticist by profession, and was an organic certifier for something like 20 years. He's an expert on earthworm farming, permaculture, and so he's a very green, earthy guy, and anything to do with agriculture.
Lovely. Okay, well, that's good. That just gives everybody, I'll interview him and he'll give us all of his intel. So, but just to give people an idea. So I'm very much looking forward to meeting you. I will meet you, Diane, because I'm only going away on the 16th. So I'll see you. Yeah. So I will get a chance to see you, and we'll be in touch then. So
lovely. Well, thank you.
Yes, no,
thank
lovely.
you so much for this opportunity. I really appreciate it, and I cannot wait to come home. It's been a heart call for a long time now to come home to do this work. So I'm just so grateful, so grateful.
And you're just going to love it. And I'll tell you what, we've got the most astounding, amazing people here. You really just you're going to feel like it's home. You really are. So I'm really looking forward to that.
All right. Well, thank you.
And okay, so I'll see you soon. And to our viewers, thank you for watching. Thank you for joining us. Please check out all of our other videos and talks and conversations, and you'll definitely find something that is up your street. And I'll see you soon with our interview with Charles. So thank you, everybody. Thanks, Diana.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye.